It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. And as always, every day is a good day to paint. I'm going to go live here on Facebook. I'm going to share over to my pals. And then I'm going to run a screen recording of not display 1, not display 2, but display 3. So we're going to record the last session here. It's actually going to be 2 sessions, and I might need help remembering that we're doing 2 sessions today, 2 separate sessions, maybe 1 hour and a half each. I'm going to send over to friends, well, to one friend, I'm going to tag a pal who, who, as Cinnabon Boy, if you are here, you'll be happy to know that I have a new tenant in my head. And yeah, so we got a new tenant. So we're going to make sure that they are invited to come watch our stream. Let me just find out a couple of things about how to make sure that I'm live. Okay, we're live on Facebook. That's me, doubled up here. And then we're going to share, when possible, to our group. So we're going to share to our group, Portrait Painters, and then ooh. Okay, so we are going to do it up, and I am hoping to get some exciting conversation going about the merits or lacks thereof of digital artwork. Okay, so as my dear Twitch family will know, I have a couple of tenants living in my head, and they're not paying full rent. There's a deeply discounted but today we've got another tenant, and I hope they'll come by on Facebook to chit chat. So to that end, I am going to have my stream, my Facebook stream is going to be open. So please, anyone who's curious about what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, why I'm doing it, please come on over to Facebook, watch the stream, and chime in. I'd love to chat about what's the point. So, what else is going on? Well, we are going to paint today. We're not just going to rant. And we are also going to talk about what's on the horizon. So there's a possibility we're going to have two projects today. But most importantly, we've got this one. And here's what we're going to do today. this section of our live stream, this section of our time lapse is going to focus squarely on Roger's mug here. I plan on to hit this pretty hard and just fill in all the canvas, the blank canvas that I've left, but only within the flesh areas of the head. So that's a little, it's a little, I don't know what the word is. It's a little bit constraining, to be honest. Is there any volume on here? Yes. Okay, good. I'm not just ranting in silence. At least I like to make sure I rant. When I rant, I like to rant with potential audience. So, where are my... Oh, you know what I did? Here. We got to get our layers panel out. Layers panel. Where's our layers panel? Working family. Where's our layers panel? All right, that'll do it. And then we're going to go to full screen. Actually, workspace, essentials, and then we're going to go to full screen mode. Okay. Safe and sound, layers panel. What's going on? We got to get onto our painting layer, and then we're going to... you know what I did again? This is not Bob Ross. Cinnabon Boy was trying to point that out, at least on Twitch. I'm sorry, Twitch family. I'm paying more attention. I'm paying much more attention to my other streaming platforms at the moment. But you're always in my heart, and I will next time get the title right. And thanks for the heads up. I didn't even know that I had the title wrong. Okay, I got my pal here today, my own kitty pal. It's funny that, oh yes, okay, here he is. Anybody want to say hi? Now's your chance. Oh boy. All right, meow meow. So there we go. Chat's open. You know, drop a line if you want to chat with Kitty Cat. We're happy to facilitate a conversation. I'm also very happy to facilitate a conversation on Facebook, not with a cat. But we're live, so let's paint, okay? How do we do this? In the last hour and a half, at least the last hour and a half that we have on our painting, we're going to fill in the blanks, okay? So what does that mean? Well, it means let's look for the most underdeveloped areas of our painting, squint down, and knock those areas in while keeping an eye on our reference photo. there's a little bit of a sense of indignation. Is that the right word? I'm going to have to Google that. Yeah, that's the right word. I feel indignant today, and I really shouldn't, but I can't help myself. And I think the best I can do to get over that feeling is to share. Oh, Faye Helmet. And we're live. Hang on a second. Okay. Hello, Faye. I had to Google that. This is the definition, and this is what I feel. Feeling or showing anger or annoyance at what is perceived as unfair treatment. In a sentence, he was indignant at being the object of suspicion. So, good morning, good afternoon. Did you get a chance to say hi to my puppet pal? I hope so. I can't. Yeah, he wants to chime in. But I'm not going to do my puppet voice today. I got to get a little more comfortable before I do that. But he's here. He's just by my side helping me paint. Okay. So let's fill in our our glorified paint by numbers. And let's kick some butt. Let's knock this one out of the park. And then we're going to, use that indignance and use it to kind of educate, really. I mean, that's kind of what I want to do. I'd like to educate people on the joys of painting, be it digital, be it from life, be it from a photograph. There's so much joy to be found in this humble craft. I'm a humble craftsman. And if pushed to explain why I like to do this, I would just refer you to the process. And so here we are. Let's do this. Let's make a painting together. Actually, we're going to finish the painting together. And I want everybody who's here to just enjoy and ask questions and find out what it is we do and why we do it. Okay. So, Faye Helmet, thank you for the expressive emotes, and I'm really liking the way your costume is. I don't even know. I don't know the right terms for what this is. It's like a sculpture that you can wear, and it's pretty cool. I like seeing the process there, or the progress, and also interested in the. It's funny, the inspiration of Diet Pepsi and Cherry Coke and anything else under the banner of delicious branded products. In the summertime, I tend to make sandcastles. That's what I do when I'm on the beach. I can just sit and enjoy the beach, but one of the things I really love to do when I'm on the beach is build sandcastles, and I do that by carving out a bucket. Gosh, I feel like I'm going to have some trouble chatting today and working, because this is kind of the most mission critical part of this portrait. Plus, I'm a little feeling indignant, as I said earlier, so I'm kind of up in my head a bit. But it's just the way it goes, right? We will survive. So, back to what I was saying about sandcastles. I make these big towers. They're like giant, sandcastles that are made out of, I take a bucket and I cut the bottom out of the bucket, and then I fill it with water and sand, and it creates a kind of like, it's like a masonry thing. I'm not a mason, but I just know that it's like a cement made out of sand, and you can build it taller that way. You can build very tall castles that way, taller than you would be able to without the bucket with the hole in the bottom. So you can see those on my, well, maybe not on my Instagram, but I should put some of those up there but anyway, one of them, I fueled that building process with Diet Pepsi one day. There have been many times when I've been out there working hard and sweating and drinking Diet Pepsi. And so one of the towers that I made, I called it Diet Pepsi Tower. And so I get the inspiration. I'm with you. I like that people are making art about soda. Diet Pepsi brand warrior. That's great. That sounds great. The Diet Pepsi Tower is not. Well, I'll get a picture of it up soon. Maybe at the break. So for those of you who are on Facebook or YouTube, I'm chatting with Faye Helmet, who's an artist, a cardboard sculptor. And I encourage you to come over to Twitch, link in bio, I think, and chat with us, or chat in YouTube, and I'll relay the messages to chat in Twitch. So here we go. There's a lot of things that need to be done today and need to be done carefully and with some sense of urgency, because I'm not going to go on this one any longer than today. But we can do it. Yes. So yeah, I want to learn more about the culture, and to that end, I really need to make more time to hang out on these platforms and learn more. But at the moment, I'm kind of juggling responsibilities of work, and but I really hope to learn more about like the brand warrior thing, and yeah, in a way, I feel like I'm something of a brand warrior for at the moment, Mr. Rogers and Daniel Tiger. Not that they need a brand warrior, but that's why that's sort of the point of this, is to be like, pay attention to these people, So, I mean, and I also like to paint. I'm going to grab this. People seem to prefer the painterly look. I'm trying to keep this one painterly, but also finish it, and that's a really tough balance for me sometimes. We'll see how it goes, but I will continue to complain that I don't know, maybe not feeling 100%, but so with that said, okay, we're not getting any bites from our Facebook world. Really would like to get that kind of kicked off. Oh, if you're in, Faye Helmet says, oh, if you're interested, I run a Brand Warrior Discord, and this Sunday there will be the next episode of the Brand Wars podcast on Discord and YouTube. Awesome. I think I even saw your promotion about that. I'll try to, if not get there for the event, I will hopefully be able to follow up and learn more. But yeah, I'm interested for sure. I just I don't always have as much, like these days, because I'm so focused on my own wars. I'm kind of like wasting my time. I don't know if you've ever done this, but like I find myself just being like completely wasting time refreshing my like YouTube pages and stuff. I've always been an addict to that. Like, how is this performing and when, and learning as much as I can about the data. But I do that while I can't just let the data accrue and look at it later for some reason. It's like I've been really wasting time watching numbers on my channels, and like, part of that is like fielding comments and learning more. Oh, thank you, Faye. Thanks a lot for the invite. Part of that is just watching and learning more. It's like an experiment, but after a while you really gotta let go and just do the work and stop worrying about what people are saying. And that's, or whether people like it or not. But I think that's one of the things about, I'll just come out with it here. I got a comment on one of my time lapse, not my time lapses. I posted a photo of my painting in a portrait painters group that I run, by the way. And I got a comment that was pretty, I would say, passive aggressive, and also just kind of like misinformed, but also like on the verge of being like a troll, but not. And it made me like realize, look, if I can't get a thicker skin about this kind of thing, like, but then I'm like, no, I gotta defend what I'm doing here. This is not like, so, it's an emotional time for me right at the moment, but I'm trying to figure out what to do, how to do it. And I'm kind of, I guess it's a good thing that there are people who are like coming at, feel the need to come out and say anything about what I'm doing, but I guess like I'm used to it being positive, and then there was this kind of like passive aggressive thing, and I was like, dude, all right, let's open this. You want to talk? Let's talk. I mean, really, that's what it's about. Let's discuss. I think that's right, but I think in this case, it's not a troll so much. A troll, by definition, I believe, and you tell me if I'm wrong, I think a troll is somebody who doesn't really have an opinion one way or another. Whereas what's happening, I think, in this particular case, is that somebody this is somebody who loves art, okay, and is not just trying to like get clicks or whip up trouble, but more like saying, I believe something about art that you know, and I'm like, okay, yes, but so yeah, that's sort of what I see as the difference. Like a troll to me seems to be somebody who's like, doesn't play for any particular side, or like doesn't have any allegiance and just wants to like cause havoc, right? And I can identify that and very easily be like, no problem, not worth my time. But what is worth my time is when somebody who clearly purports to have an interest in the field of study that I am like essentially, and I'm not bragging here, I am essentially have like a doctorate level, understanding of portrait painting. I studied and taught the craft for 7 years when I was in my late teens. I'm not the best. I'm certainly not the worst, and I spent a ton of time doing it. So this is somebody who has an interest in that world and is coming out to question my motivation for doing what I'm doing. And that's like, okay, yeah, like question it. But question it, I invite you to come and like come to my stream, see what I'm doing. Because basically the question is, it would be like if somebody came to your channel and said, I don't even know, because what you do is much more creative than what I'm doing. What I do is not particularly creative. I acknowledge that. Like, this is a craft. It's a celebration. It's kind of hearkening back to an old, not just an old media icon, the subject of Fred Rogers, but it's also an old tradition that I'm trying to fuse with new tools. And it's being misunderstood. For the most part, it's very well received, and like people seem to like have no problem with the fact that I'm using contemporary tools with traditional. So anyway, look, this always happens to me when I get one of these comments, and if Cinnabon Boy's out there, he'll be the first to know that I've got, as I said, I have a new tenant now living rent-free in my head. But I don't want to just spend this session ranting, because it's going to make the painting suffer. Dude, cheers, buddy. I deleted the comments again. I started trying to defend myself, and then I said, you know what? No, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to invite said person to view today's stream and to talk. And then, very much a Linda, very much an acolyte of Linda, but no, brand new, same attack. Yeah, I as I've said, I'm feeling indignant today, and I will continue to feel that until I've gotten this painting out of my system and figured out how to address the issue in a mature way. I don't know how to do that, but I want to address it. I still get what you mean. I have gotten comments like, this armor better, or make better armor. Yeah, yeah. That hurts, and yeah, yeah. At some point, I'm gonna tear the cover off this ball here and basically describe what it is that I'm specifically what I'm talking about. But if you go to my Facebook group, you can see attached to today's live stream. Maybe you can do some sleuthing and figure out. But I will discuss it happily later on in the stream. But it's just a, you know, I'm thankful for you guys for not coming to the table with judgment or questioning about what it is that I'm doing here. And, you know, I was watching Mr. Rogers today with my son before school, and he said he was drawing a cartoon image of a house, some people in front of the house, and he said, it's not, he said, what matters is that you're doing something. It feels good to do things, he said. That was his quote. It feels good to do things. It feels good to have done something. No matter what anybody else thinks it is. And, you know, that's true. I'm clearly having trouble embracing the Fred Rogers way. But, you know, the problem, again, as Cinnabon has heard me countless times on this subject, the attack, the comment is not about whether or not what I'm doing is good. The comment is not, that's a bad painting. The comment is a conflation of the idea that digital painting is not worth doing. That's a thing, and I get that, and I have no problem saying, yeah, digital painting is worth doing. I've done it all, and I can tell you this is worth doing in the same way that traditional painting is worth doing. Okay, but it's more than just saying digital painting, because digital painting is not painting, is something that I can live with, because I can say, you don't get it, you've never done it, I get it, no problem. It doesn't bother me, like that kind of comment. What bothers me is the assumption that painters, like, let me put this another way. The problem that this commenter has is that there's a photograph that I'm using to make this painting. Okay? Hey, I don't know if you're watching my stream right now, but do you see the photograph on the right and my painting on the left? That's the photo I'm using, and that's the painting I'm doing of the photo. Okay? Like, I'm not, and furthermore, to say that a photograph, so like, to say, what's the point of painting a photograph, is to say to 99.9% of the people who paint portraits, what's the point of what you're doing? Because look, did you know that people, when they paint portraits, paint from photographs? Unless there are a very small percentage of painters who have the time and resources to paint people from life. You don't even need that because you can set up a mirror. The reference, Old Winter King has chimed in, first time chat. I want to thank you and welcome. Old Winter King joins the chat to say the reference image is just a tool. It's just as important as the drawing program. That goes really, thank you, that's true. I think it goes without saying for anyone who is a painter or an artist, they know that you can use a reference image or you cannot use a reference image. You can make things up. Or you can copy the reference image, actually, to nauseating realism. You can use a reference image and use Legos to pixel by pixel rebuild that reference image. You can do it like Chuck Close and make the painting out of little hot dogs, okay? Knock yourself out, okay? Here's the issue. The commenter was not referring to the use of photo reference. If they were, I would merely direct them to every artist since the dawn of photography who has used a photographic reference image. Now, there's maybe just a broad guess here, there's maybe 10% of portrait artists who have the desire and the kind of, knowledge to paint without a reference photo and to paint from life. You set up a mirror, you paint your own face. You hire a model, you paint the model. You get your family to sit for a little drawing, or you just sketch people in the subway. You have fun with it, right? It's probably way more likely that somebody's using a photograph these days, especially, okay? So I think what that commenter is saying is, I found the reference photo that you're using. And then furthermore, what's the point of doing what you're doing? It's like, I gotcha. This is a photo. This is from a photo, is what they said, right? And it's like kind of done in this way that's like, gotcha. And I'm like, okay. I mean, here's where the rant forks off into multiple directions. And I'm sorry if I'm not keeping the thread here, because I know that the audience is not going to necessarily have the training that I have. No judgment there, but the rant has to change depending on who your audience is. And what I'm saying is the audience in this case with this comment is somebody who knows a thing or two about painting. I know that. I know they know about painting, okay? And what I would say to them is, if 99% of artists have used photographs, that leaves what, about 1% who have never used a reference photograph? 1% maybe, right? Can you think of artists who've never used a photo? I don't know. But what this guy is saying, I believe, is use a reference photo. But why are you making it look so much like the photo? What's the point of making it look like the photo, the reference photo, right? That's none ya. Okay? That's none ya business. You asked me what the point was, and so I'm going to try to show you by doing it before your eyes, and hopefully. So anyway, the indignation level is off the charts, and I thank you for being patient with my rant. Okay, so the other thing was, I'm gonna keep this thread going while I'm You got to talk it out, right? I don't know. Maybe you don't. Maybe you just bottle it up and. But damned if what I wanted to say was, hey, guess what I am? I'm also a painter who knows how to paint from life with 0 photographs. I've done it. I like it. I will continue to do it. But right now, my project is painting portraits of icons and trying to make those paintings appear through sustained study of these images over a period of days, and to basically show the unfolding of that process with a time-lapse video, right? Like, that's my goal here, is to say, whoa, he can paint a photograph, not some sort of slavish copy of a photograph, but this is a relatively expressive, stroke by stroke reproduction of this photograph of a hero of mine. Where do I, the story goes on from here, because I can tell you what I wanted to say and what I did say, and then I deleted the comments, not because they were rude or offhanded, but because they didn't capture what it was that I was trying to say about what is the point. Okay, what is the point? That's a great question. Oh, God. Can't do that. I can't do that now. Now I'm getting hit with reality in another reality sandwich that I can't manage right now. But what's funny is that the indignation and rage is going to be, like part of this portrait, which is a shame, because it was not supposed to be about that. It was supposed to be about a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Okay. Sorry, folks. Let me finish my thought. I don't know to what extent anybody watching has ever painted or drawn a picture, or drawn a picture from life, or drawn a picture from a photo. But I just kind of want to help clarify that there are differences. There's something called photorealism. That's a thing. I don't know the history of it. My teacher was equally closed-minded in many ways to some of the commenters that I'm referring to. He said, don't look at photographs. That's what my teacher said. Not just don't paint from photographs. He said, don't even look at them. They're useless. That's extreme, right? Okay, that's extreme. But what I'm saying is that you don't have to look at photographs when you paint. Specifically, I don't have to look at photos if you paint. And if you watch what I'm doing here, you will know that if I set commenter X loose with a Wacom tablet or a pencil or a paintbrush with a photograph next to it and said, here, do your worst, There's a reason it takes me 24 hours to build this up. And it's not because, so this guy knows that, right? He knows that this is hard to do. It takes hours. But he's not saying, God, I can't get this point across because it's so, can anybody out there who has experience as or otherwise, just, this is my plea here. My plea is pretty simple. All right, now I'm losing my mind. So hold on. Let's get the thing going here. Rogers would be so proud of me not managing my feelings, right? What do you do with the mad that you feel? Maybe that should be the song for the painting, for the final time lapse. Let me get this. Let me get in the zone here a bit, and not just the anger zone. I wanted to explain a little bit about the twofold nature of the erroneous comment, okay? The commenter goes online and digs up the photograph of Bob Ross, right? Not hard to do. In fact, you could go to my YouTube channel and see that I'm using the photograph to make my portrait painting. And now, okay, here's the valid part of this guy's comment. He's basically saying, what's the point of photorealism? That's a valid question, right? But to accompany that question with the photo as though you think I made this painting up out of thin blue air or exhumed Bob Ross's corpse and set him up with, if you think that that's what I'm trying to do and somehow pull the wool over anybody's eyes, you're not just passive aggressive, but you are not smart. If you think that I am trying to pass this off as something that I imagined and painted from scratch, you're not only not smart, but you're not paying attention to what I'm doing. That's fine. You don't have to. But I did put in the comment, I put in my post process video in comments. So I was attempting to offset, I was attempting to preempt this inevitable comment, right? Which is, he used a photo for that. Okay. Yes, I did. No, it's not a gotcha. It's just that's my process. And here's the video if you want to see it, right? So that's one part of what's problematic about the criticism or the question. The other part about it is that to say, what's the point? Now let's just address that. What is the point? Let's pretend you just said, what's the point? And didn't put the reference photo. I think another way to interpret what this commenter said was, and I invite them to join and clarify, but I think one of the things that the commenter was getting at was, If this is the reference photo, and at this size, your painting just looks like the reference photo, then what's the point of doing that, right? It's a great question. But please clarify that and don't try to conflate these two concepts and saying painting from photos has no point. And here's the photo he's using, and he tightened it up so much that it's no longer art, right? And it's like, I guess it's okay to say, fine, go ahead, but I need you to clarify. It's okay with me to say what you're doing is not art. That's okay. I disagree with you. I would point you to my body of work that shows that I'm an artist. I'm a portrait artist. I'm having fun with this approach. But what I'm not okay with is the lack of clarity in the assumption that because I'm using a photo at all, that this must be you've gone too far. Like, basically, you want me to be choppier? Me too. Like, that's what I talk about all the time in these videos. I have trouble not making it hyper representational. Like, I have difficulty knowing when to stop because I have so much fun mimicking the photograph. And basically, this wraps up the whole rant here. What is the point? Because it's fun to do things. It's fun to have done something. And that's the point. It is fun. I've never been, nor will I ever be, the kind of artist that says, ooh, let's, put some wispy stuff in the background and that's going to make it artistic. Like, fine, do that. You can make Hallmark cards. You can do whatever you want. But I'm just not here for anybody saying that somebody who's trained for years, decades, is somehow basically it's saying you are pointless. That's basically what it's saying. You are pointless because your paintings are so accurate to the photo, which they are not. They could be much more accurate than this. And I'll show you. So again, thank you guys for your patience. I don't know. I'm probably going to have to take this video down after because it's just inappropriate. I mean, why am I so outraged? So thank you for your patience, and just if you're even listening, I sincerely appreciate it. And I need that sounding board because there's just, when you're told, when you're very basically your existence as a creative person is questioned, you're just dude. And you really know how some people feel who are trolled for other reasons on the internet. And this is not a troll. This is somebody who takes a moral high ground and says, oh, because the paintings I have wispy mermaid BS in them, those are the ones that are, whatever, credible and have a reason to be done. Okay? F it. F you. That's what I have to say to that. But beyond that, I think one of the ideas that Cinnabon Boy had, which I think is just a brilliant one, and I'm almost on the edge of doing this. I have too many things to do right now to let my anger completely spill over and determine what I do with my days. At least half my day now is painting Mr. Rogers, while my other half of my brain is ranting and raving about my new friend or my new tenant. What I think I would like to do, actually, is something that Cinnabon suggested, which is make a TikTok video showing the comments, okay, showing the series of comments like, I painted Bob Ross, this guy asked what the point was and showed the photo, and then in the next frame so I tried to show him what the point was, and I took his photo and I made a beautiful digital oil paint rendering of his profile photo, and here it is. I think that would be some compelling rage bait. I don't know about you guys, but anyway, that I'd be curious to hear if you're not sick yet of my ranting and raving, if you think that would be a good idea. Because I like rage bait as much as the next guy. I get a kick out of this. But yeah, thank you, Cinnabon. I appreciate it. And I've got a laundry list of things that I want to do. And I've never been happier as a painter painting these projects and having a small community who's like showing up and like this and likes this stuff. Like I'm like a pig in SHIT. And every day I'm like, who am I going to paint next? This is going to be fun. And then somebody says, what's the point? And I'm just like, dude, you're going to shit in my church? So anyway, sorry, hold on. Hello? Yep. All right. Sorry, guys. I just want to follow up on the last comment I made where I said, don't fart in my church. Okay. I don't mean church in the sense of that I'm some kind of cult leader. What I mean is, like, for me, this is my, like, you know, it's as important to me as like a religion. Like, it's like, this is what I do, and to come in and say, what's the point of the way you celebrate your talent or existence? Like, that's the key to it, right? And so that's what really gets me in a way that is, and look, I'm poor me. I mean, look at how many people are attacked for not just what they do with their gifts, but like who they are beyond what their talents are, just like who they are to begin with. So it gives me a taste of that in a way that's like, it's almost too much to even bear that people have to undergo that. So, in a way, I guess this is turning into a deeper discussion than it needs to, but thank God we have Fred Rogers to like talk us back from the ledge and say, you know what, there are things we can do with the mad that we feel. We can paint, we can punch scream in a pillow, all that kind of stuff, but we can't get rid of it. And that's just the sad truth. There's going to be these things that come to haunt us. And so, boy, oh boy. So anyway, back to the crazy idea of painting my tenant, and then charging rent for that painting. I'm going to wait till I have like 20,000 followers. Okay? And then I can actually charge my tenant rent for living in my head. Does that make sense, Cinnabon? I don't know. Sorry if you're busy. And I know it's totally cool if you're, don't want to, not up for it today, but, I think that would kind of be funny, is like, wait until I've got ad revenue and then earn a penny for his portrait that he put online, and his name and all that stuff. So anyway, I think that could be good. But in the meantime, I have so many more positive developments. Like, I have a new subject for the next painting from the PBS icons. It's so exciting. To me, it's very exciting. I don't know if you guys are going to agree. I'm curious. I think people are gonna. It's gonna send some waves, I think. So that's really exciting to me, that I have a new project for this PBS public broadcasting series. Okay, great. Pat myself on the back. But then I also have something, which is an idea for a TikTok video. There's a TikTok trend out there, which is, so they say, posting my artwork every day until I find my community. Have you ever seen that trend? And they like flip their painting around, and it shows one of their works with mermaids and wispy things in the background. So I'm thinking of doing that in a funny way that will be a surprise. Okay, so I might, more to come on that, but just a little behind the scenes of what I have going on for that. And so yeah, I think I'm trying to keep things positive. I woke up in the middle of the night and saw this and like wanted to see, I wonder how my socials are doing. Like, I'm addicted to finding out how these things are performing, for better or worse, probably worse. But when I found out that somebody in France or wherever it is was doing that, I was like, God, I couldn't shake it. So maybe that's the way to shake it, is by doing this project. But I'm just going to build up my rage for a later time when my reach is more effective, So I'm psyched about that. And then other good news, I've got an open studio coming up. And I haven't figured out how I'm going to do this, but I'm going to somehow invite people to... Oh, God, I only have 20 minutes on this section. I'm going to somehow invite people to... I'm going to stream during the open studio. So to me, that's very exciting. So you'll get a behind the scenes look at the studio, and maybe I'll even be doing some work that has a point to it for my tenants. And yeah. So rant phase of today's broadcast is over. Maybe I'll mute the entire first hour of this post. Because we don't want our buddy to find out what the plan is. It's got to be a complete, 5 years later. It's like, you want to know what the point is? Sorry. So anyway, happy we're back, we're back to what we do best, which is paint Fred Rogers' nose and paint it with our training, the tools that we have, the software, the canvas, the paintbrushes, whatever it is you want to use. So this is what we do. I remember once seeing a sign in the New York subway that said wet paint. And somebody had folded it such that it said T-Pain. And I was listening to T-Pain a lot at the time, and I just found it very clever. And then once I found the wet paint sign, and I folded it to say, we paint. And that was just, it's like, we paint. And so what? What's the point? It's actually a good question. And I think it's one that's worth exploring. So let's keep finding out. Here's to finding out why. Here's to finding out what's the point. Right now, the point is to get this time lapse done and move on, maybe even today in the afternoon, to the next subject. Very psyched. Blood pressure starting to come down. The doctor will be happy to know that I'm allowing for food breaks so that my hypoglycemia doesn't send me asunder. And yeah, here's to better times. Okay, speaking of better times, there's more stuff going on in the eyelash lid area. There is also a hugely exciting baseball series going on in Queens, starting tonight at Citi Field. We've got the second place New York Mets squaring off against the first place in their division, Philadelphia Phillies. I kind of want to see game one of that series. Anybody else out there have any feelings about the New York Mets and their crazy resurgence or their late in the season comeback? There's this guy Acuna who was basically first at bat was on the 14th of September, first major league at bat, and he's now like hit 2 home runs. He's crushing it, and really exciting to watch. And but the problem is when I see that, when I see the games, I often think to myself, what's the point? Why are they hitting this ball into a field and running around? All right, let's get in here and hit these baby blues. Not so baby blues, but blues nonetheless. Okay. Good, good. Good, good. Yeah, I hope to make it to that game. Whoa, not correct. If it's not tonight's game, it'll be another one. But there aren't many left. This is tricky, this spot. In the painting. Yeah. I'm thinking about this. Now that the dust is feeling like it's beginning to settle, I'm a little whatever. What can you do? So let's get this jawline in place. That's a good thing to do. And then we can say, we did it. We did it. It's a pretty good portrait so far. I've got things that I need to do to finish it, but mostly it's going to be now teeth and mouth. We want to avoid this thing looking like Emperor Palpatine, if at all possible, which, by the way, spoiler alert, I've been thinking about that one for the next portrait. Oh, I'm afraid the Death Star will be fully operational. And he's a good vehicle for rage bait as well. Okay, let's see here. Wow, look at this. So there's a highlight here followed very swiftly afterwards by an accent. What do you do with the mad that you feel? What a feeling to feel like this and know that the feeling is really... Yeah, see, once you start to get in here and make moves to tighten things up, oh boy, it's so tempting to like go too far. And it's funny, it's like I'm well aware that there's sort of a balance between expressiveness and realism, and I'm fine. The point of what I'm doing this is like to try to find my voice. Like, how expressive do I need to be and stay true to what I like to see? And it's such a point is I'm starting to see like, oh, I could take this to the next level, and it's gonna. But I have to remember what I'm doing here. I'm making a painting. I'm not merely a photocopier. I'm not merely a Xerox machine, although that is my default mode is like copy, copy. And there's no point in that, right? Maybe there is. Maybe the point is to get to what makes you happy. Okay. Aggrievedartists.com. I've already got the domain. It's a huge market. We're not trying to Scrunchy. He's too scrunchy. You see that? It's very Freddy Krueger and not Rogers. And how do we solve that? We got to go into the... Sometimes scrunching is okay because it's like if you make a mistake there and it makes him look like even more joyful, maybe that's kind of fun. but I'm a skeptic that, at least at this point, it's looking too scrunchy, I think. So. We gotta put a stop to that. We gotta put a stop to that. Less Freddy Krueger, more Fred Rogers, right? Another thing that Rogers would say, like, like when Bob Specca knocks over his 3,000 dominoes at the end of the domino run, one of the little things doesn't fall. Like one of the cool, like, mousetrap type contraptions that he set up doesn't work. And he goes, "Oh, that one didn't quite fall how I wanted it to. How I expected it to." And Rogers goes, "But look at all the ones that did." While the dominoes are still going, he's like, he just knows to swoop in and be like, stop thinking about what you can't control. And like, it's like, it makes you think, like, this guy just was like on, because they don't have extra takes. Like, he just knew to say that, like, yeah, it didn't work how you wanted it to, but look at all the stuff that did. And that's like, talk about church. Like, this guy had something very, he had that wisdom that just was like always around, and he loved to use it and try to introduce kids to it, which is crazy. I mean, it's like, especially when he was going up against a lot of the competition at the time, including Sesame Street, which was all these jump cuts and like crazy. I mean, Sesame Street is like the lesser of all evils, but he was up against stuff at the time that's almost impossible to compete with, and he just fought the good fight, So anyway, that's Rogers for you. All right, let's find what's happening with these lovely highlights. So we've got, there's a swoop across. It's funny, when I start doing these tiny brush strokes, that's when my CPU gets overloaded, I've noticed. Yep. There's a slight This is hard. This is really tough. But let's find out why. This is where the rubber meets the road. Bottom of the nose, tip of the nose comes down. And then there's a highlight here that indicates where the bottom of the nose really is. And then there's a slight highlight here. Don't like that nose. Not Fred's nose, but my own. I don't like that either, but the one I'm painting. Oh boy, come on. Here, let's try this. We gotta solve this. Let's solve this in the name of don't paint angry. Don't paint angry. That's what I had to say to myself over the weekend. And I did it. I don't know why. You got to paint however you are, right? You got to show up. That's really it. Gosh, not quite there. Move this paint down and around like that. We're going to move this one up. Look at this. This is like really the most important sequence in this whole picture is right now. It's sensitive and I'm overdoing it a little bit, but it's I think it's important. Why? What's the point? I'll let my cat puppet tell you what the point is. Cat puppets, cat puppets. Okay, that's looking good. I kind of like that. All right, let's figure out why this over here is looking funny. Grab this. Gotta grab this one. Okay, it comes curling in and through. Cat puppets. Cat puppets. Have you ever seen a cat's eyes in the dark and wondered what they were? Did you ever grow anything in the garden of your mind? Did you grow ideas in the garden of your mind? It's good to be curious about many things. Jeez, this is tough shit. Whoops. It doesn't have to be tough, but I'm rushing it because I want out of here. I want this one done. It's good to be curious. About many things. There's so much more calm in Roger's visage than I'm giving credit for. Oh, we gotta find it, folks. We've gotta find it. And part of that calm lies in the eyelashes. Let's do it. I got a reflection behind me here. My buddy. So I know I'm failing to use a technique that I thought I would use in this portrait. Which is layering. Thank you to, I've already forgotten who I had this conversation with. Norsewerg. Are you out there? God. Let's get this. And they'll grow. All you have to do is think. Oh, God. This is not the day for the rocking chair. The rocker upstairs. No. It's okay. He's a cute kid. Okay. Pull this down. See, it's too crazy what I've done with his head. I should have left it. I shouldn't have gone so crazy myself. Sorry, Fred. All right. Here we go. Let's put this into play. put this on the field. It's funny because I think this one may end up being one that I'm not as thrilled with. It's too scary, his face. Part of it is the rage. There's rage in his eye there that needn't be there. Here, let's try to... Okay, there's... I didn't forget, but I forgot to mention that in my description of my post, I wrote Wacom tablet on Photoshop. Because people like to say, hey, oil on linen, okay? And what I'm doing is I'm using this little pen called a Wacom, I don't even know, Wacom tablet. I'm using it, and I'm taking a blank Photoshop paper, and I'm building up this portrait. So the commenter in question said, rather Photoshop on Wacom tablet. What's the point of this? So like somehow that was the whole thing that was the evidence that they were conflating anti-digital art, whatever, hate with anti-working from photos. That's the crux of it. It's bizarre that both of these assailants, as I will call them, had the same kind of double-pronged attack that doesn't really hold up. It doesn't make sense when you really examine. And what I realize, sorry to sound like a high, get on my high horse here, but like what it really boils down to is that both of these people, they just wish they could do it. I'm sorry. And that's what I have to keep telling myself, like, they can't do this. And that's why I'm doing it, because they can. They actually can paint at this level, and you can be taught to do this. It's not just some talent that I was born with. I had a little bit of talent, but mostly I just practiced and copied comic books when I was a kid and just tried to do it over and over. And then eventually I found an art school where they forced me to get serious about, this is how you do this. I didn't even know that those art schools existed, but they do. And what I would say to Linda And the tenant in the basement apartment is, dudes, don't worry. Like, you can do this and more. Like, you can actually do this and do it better than I do it, because it'll be your style. But you need to train, and you need to learn how to draw from life. Okay? That's what you need to do. Throw the photos away for a time, it's true. My teacher will be the first to tell you, don't look at the photos when you're learning. And always revisit from nature. When I go to the Poconos in the summer, that's what I'm there for. I'm relearning how to paint from nature. When I hire a model or paint my son or whatever, it's all about practicing. So that's kind of the crux of what I think I would want to say in defense. It's like, dude, I know you're I know you can't really fathom why people are giving this thing likes, because you think it's not possible without some kind of magic or wizardry. But I'm here to tell you it is. It's very, very much something that people can learn to do. And it's hard work, but it is worth it in the end, because it's fun to do stuff. There we go. Rant level 2. Initiate. All right, I'm like totally getting too far into this, but I'm loving it. And I think, to be fair, one of the reasons that I get so agitated is that it is true. It's like, sometimes I ask myself, what is the point of this? But that's what we're here to do, is figure that out and try to answer that question. Cue the Good Will Hunting music. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. Shut up. It's not your fault. Shut up. Who was that, by the way? Maybe that was Tim. Was it Tim Burton? No, not Tim Burton. Danny Elfman? I think it was. Who did the music? That's another podcast idea. Gosh, this is tricky stuff, man. Here's the hairline here. Boy, oh boy. Let's keep it rolling. Let's keep it rolling. So a couple of things that need adjustment here, at least. One being how much light there is back in here. This is actually probably going to be the most interesting part of this painting, if you ask me. It's that we're going to see in the time lapse, we're going to see this part really come into focus in a way that because we're so zoomed in on the head right now in the time lapse, so that's what I'm eager to see. Oops. Gosh, we gotta get that tooth. We gotta get the tooth. You seen Dune yet, anybody? The tooth. Remember the tooth. Here we go. Rogers. God, that silence is deafening as my there's some anxiety that creeps up for sure. When you're working on a painting like this, it starts to get spooky, You don't want to lose your progress, right? It's almost imperceptible. This little streak of red over imperceptible. Totally predictable. What is that? Come on, bring it in here. Let's bring it home, folks. Bring it home. Totally perceptible. Such a calm. He's got like just a calming expression. And I don't think I did that justice. All right, let's move. Let's roll. Totally perceptible. See, here's part of it. If we grab this dark from the dark zone here. Oh God. Can we do it? We dare. It's a spooky old tunnel. It's a spooky old tree. Berenstein Bears. I had some other ideas for portrait possibilities. Some of them don't make any sense at all, but I'm still processing them. And they'll come out more and more as I find my voice here. Find out what my purpose on this planet is. Okay, so don't want to go too far here. That's pretty good. Squinting down, we can see things that shouldn't be there. Squinting up, Squinting down like this. That's a fun passage. There's a fun passage right here. Fire off a little flick of hair there. Can we do that? Can you even do that? Mesmerizing. I thought I was going to be able to do this. Oh my goodness. This is the zone that I want to be in. Very tense. I'm very tense, and I don't think that this is what Rogers had in mind when he said it's fun to do things. Oops, okay. So now we're going to look. Look. Let's soften. It is time. Rogers. Boom, let's get this. We never quite got this going. That's reflected light. We're going to have, by the way, speaking of reflected light, we're going to have a heck of a ride on our next portrait for reflected light. Oh, it's a beaut. But we're going to get through it together. And we can do this. Okay. Dark is dark. Dark is dark. Darky, darky, dark, dark, dark. Okay, ready? Let's go. Dark, darky, dark. Dark, 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 dark is dark. Let's find out what we're made of here, right? You can't, if you don't try, you won't find out. Shoot. Here. Boom. Let's bring this up and away. Come on. Now zoom out, find it. Are we good? No, we're not good. We're never good. We're not good until I say it's good. Oh my goodness. Please, please, please let me off the hook with this one. There's one more. This is the battle that we talk about. This, really zoom in, carve in. We don't have time to quite hit it the way I'd imagined, but look at all the things that we have, as Rogers would say, and then find out why. This is this kind of thing that painters do. The real painters out there do this stuff. And I love it. I admire it so much. But I've never been good at it. I often get too lost in the details. And this is what I always tell people when I'm streaming is like, you don't have to. You can stay broad, but it's so much harder than it sounds. Good. Okay, Fred, I think we're good. The last thing that I want to do on this head is soften a little bit this and this. Just ever so slightly. Soften that. And then we've got our portrait resolved. No, I said it, but we're not going to do it. The last step for this resolution is going to be, what's it going to be? God, there's this really funny YouTube video about this little Irish girl who is trying to put on like an Elsa show for her parents, and they're laughing because she's just super cute and she's like trying to boss them around into listening, and they can't stop laughing. And she uses her parents' discipline tactics against them, and she goes, "You're being bold," to the mother. "You're being a bold little girl." And she's like 3. At the most. And she goes, then maybe if you're gonna choke yourself if you keep doing this, which I guess is like a phrase for like, if you're I don't know, like if I think because they're laughing at it, you're gonna choke yourself. And she goes, maybe the man You go and sit on the naughty step, and the man will come and take you away. And it just makes the parents laugh more. It's kind of sad because she's really having some serious feelings, but it's pretty darn funny as far as children memes are concerned. And oh, you're being a bold little girl. And and like clearly the parents have used these tactics on her. Very funny. I don't know why I thought of that, but I did. All right, I think we're gonna try to soften, because what's happening here is like there's something going on in the smile mark. Always a smile mark issue, right? You're like, I don't know what you're talking about. Smile mark. It's the little hints that make the expression go from mean to not mean. And like, look at all this texture. It's really, you have to squint and find where's the texture and where does the texture become something else. Just like we sort of tried to do on the forehead. But it's that 5 o'clock shadow. It's the hardest part of this painting, really. I said it before, I'll say it again. Oh boy. Come on. Let me off the hook. There's no getting off the hook, right? It's too crazy, man. His face is too happy clappy. Oh, God. Here, this is it. Is this it? What is it? What is this? It's like I've captured Fred the way he would look if he were like some kind of like crazy uncle. That's the problem. It's charming, but it's like he looks like he's had a couple too many to drink. All right. We're going to get through it though. It's the only way. Press forward. I think I set my standards for speed and efficiency too high on this one. Because where are we? Oh, we're at 2:12. We have 45 minutes to persist, at least, to try to persist. I think part of the crazy uncle vibes are, it's like here in the eyelids. Look, it takes one to know one, right? Oh boy. Let's dig. We're gonna dig. I'm gonna try to find this. God, it's too hard. I can't do it. I can't do it. Oh boy, stop. Stop the scary calls. Phone calls. It's like, well, Chris, maybe you want to turn your phone off. That's kind of better. It's kind of better. Come on. All right, I'm going to try something, which is a new layer. We're going to lock this one down for now. No. I almost threw that away. All right, new layer. Pardon me. And then we're going to find our lightest lights, and then we're going to hit them accordingly. So dude, no, sorry, dun dun dun. Wet into wet. Sorry, the opposite, dry into dry. Amazing. I owe this to Norsewerg. And, you know, it's a save. I can put that, I think I can put that in the books as a save. Not yet. All right. What else can we do while we're in highlight mode? I feel like I should do this one again. He deserves it. Rogers. Come on, Rogers. Give me a hand here. Let's reach for this one. Let's pull in a bit of this. We're going to try to rectify some of the loss here. Because you don't want them to look like crazy. It's tough. Gosh, I'm overthinking this big time. All right, let's go back. Big time overthinking. You want to prove yourself to the trolls and you just wind up making a mess. I'm going to finish this one. Okay, let's finish it. Okay, now we've got a half hour left to go. We were going to do the tie. We were going to do the tie, and let's do the tie. Okay? That's all there is. Squint. Grab a dark of your choice. Hit it. Painter's choice. Decide why we're doing it. What's the point? What's the point? A new painting podcast. With special guests, Linda, the roommate that lives in the basement, Daniel Tiger, and many, many more. Oh boy, come on, let's do this. Gosh, it's like you'd think the fun part was painting the portrait, but let me tell you, that was scary. I had to get the heck out of there and probably do it more. I also wonder if I'm not getting sick. There's murmurs that the COVID is going around again. Ah, boy. Rumors in the first grade chat. Hang on. Gonna find something here. Okay, let's try this.
Building your online business? Go to Wix.com and set up your store on a single integrated platform.
Hang on.
Hi neighbor, welcome again to this neighborhood. I'd like to show you something. You know what this is? Well, maybe if I press this button. This is a cassette player with a little cassette in here, and there's nothing written on it, so we'll just have to play it to see what it is. Do you ever imagine things? Are they scary things? Are they scary things? Do you ever imagine things? Things you'd like to have? Did you ever see a cat's eyes in the dark and wonder what they were? Did you ever pretend about things like that before? Did you ever grow anything in the garden of your mind? You can grow ideas in the garden of your mind. It's good to be curious about many things. You can think about things and make believe. All you have to do is think, and they'll grow. Imagine every person that you see is somewhat different from every other person in the world. Some can do some things, some can do others. Did you ever think of the many things you've learned to do? Many things. Did you ever grow anything in the garden of your mind? You can grow ideas in the garden of your mind. It's good to be curious about many things. You can think about things and make believe. All you have to do is think, and they'll grow. Did you feel like going like that? Let's give the fish some food. Mr. McFeely, I didn't order any whistles.
That's McPhee.
That's what they call a slide whistle. Did you feel like going like that? There are so many things to learn about in this world, and so many people who can help us learn. Did you ever grow anything in the garden of your mind? You can grow ideas in the garden of your mind. It's good to be curious about many things. You can think about things and make believe. All you have to do is think. You can think about things and make believe. All you have to do is think, and they'll grow.
Anyhow, it's just a real... I thought you might appreciate that. It's a powerful tune. All right, here we go. Wait, what? Okay, come on. We've only got a little ways to go here. And I think we're gonna pull it off. It's been a rocky day. It feels like it's a Friday, man. It feels like it's been a long week. I just learned something that was pretty darn helpful. And I'm feeling good about that. And that was the layering. So what you can do, excuse me, is to set up a second layer, which I do in my real paintings. My oil paintings, I often set that up. a kind of layer that I let the layers underneath dry, and then I put something on top. But with digital paintings, I've never done that before. And so I was pleased to have the opportunity at the suggestion of one of the Twitch viewers was to use layers. And that was very helpful. So I used some layers to put because what happens is if you don't, you're painting wet into wet. And wet into wet is great for the most part, but sometimes you want to put something dry. Sometimes you want to put wet paint over a dry area, like here, because if you don't, what happens is, I'm not going to do it, I'm painting wet into wet, but if you don't, you're not going to get your, you're not going to get it's just going to blur. It's going to blend into the background. It's going to blend into the layers underneath. So by doing what I describe is creating a new layer, you can then, I don't know, put on dry paint into wet paint. Sorry, wet paint into dry paint. So, gosh, here we go. It's coming down to the wire. And then take a little white like this. And we'll hit a zipper. Tap, 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 tap. How about down here? Tap, 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 tap. We're really hitting lights here. We should be doing this on the layers, but we're not. And we can, before the day is out, we can get there and hit another layer. Now I'm really just mailing it in here at this point. It's fine. Now we're just gonna, like I say, mail it in. Bring out the heavy weapons here. That's really our last hurrah, if we want it to be. Oops, I forgot to do something. I need to take a break quickly. Because I didn't do the tie. I got overexcited. Well, I'm going to take a break. Not a break, but I'm going to sit back. And I'm going to... You know, the way this often goes is that you're just never really going to be satisfied. Rogers talked about this himself, in fact. He talked about when he had an idea for a project or a show, it never came out the way that he thought it would. And the key is to be fearless and do it anyway and accept what's not the same as what your fantasy was. That's why he created the land of make-believe, actually. Because in the land of make-believe, as we all know, anything is possible. Los mundos de make-believe. It was like the mundo de fantasia. That's what he called it in one episode, the fortune cookie episode. Something like that. I forget the exact Spanish, but gosh. Okay, I'm going to zoom out on my other thing, so bear with me in this. It's going to be I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to pull my screen. I'm going to get rid of my microphone. Okay, are we there yet? Here, are we here? Are we here? Okay. So here comes our MacBook screen. And we're going to get rid of the be right back. It's not going to look any different to us. But now we're zoomed out. And we're going to double check. And then in the 11th hour here, we're going to see the big picture. I messed up by doing I messed up because I was supposed to be filming something else. But I was supposed to be filming, what's it called? Never mind. It's boring anyway. And we can fix some things here by hitting these shadows. Tap, 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 tap. Okay, we're going to hit. I'm going to zoom out. Get this tie going. This is a crazy tie, huh? Jeez Louise. I'm losing it, folks. Really need that. We needed the wet and the wet thing. Got this going. Something like this. Gosh. This one's pretty meaningful. I mean, it's going to be hard to let it go because, you know, we can always come back and do it again, but it's tricky. I was really happy with Bob Ross, and I think the reason is this guy's such an icon. Ross is more ironic, and like to me, this dude is like the real deal. I shouldn't be mocking anyone, but I'm just you're really making a statement when you put out a portrait of Rogers. You know, it better be good, because he was the best to ever do it. Gosh, I'm throwing stuff at the wall now. It's okay. You're okay. Calm it down. Really got to me. My moral battle really misinformed my painting today. But that's fine. Okay. Rogers, done. I mean, Daniel, done. God, some of the people that I studied painting with are so good at some of these things that I'm dealing with right now. And I wish I knew more. I wish I knew how to do it like some of those people. But that's what I'm here for. I'm learning. Okay, we're going to fuse these layers together. We're going to merge. And that makes the paint wet. And I know you can't do that with digital, with traditional. But we're going to do it here. We're going to re-wetify. We're going to take our I'm not going to look at the head of Rogers again. We've got 10 more minutes. We're going to use those minutes to resolve issues within issues. Okay. It's always an issue. Gosh, I need to take a long nap. It's been too much this day. But I'm pleased that we're going to make it. We got to try to make it through. I think we can. And I think we're going to be proud of ourselves when we've done it. Because as the man says, it's good to be curious about many things. And that's, to me, I think what should be meaningful about painting is that you remain curious and you're not looking. This time I think I just haven't ever got out of into curiosity mode, especially today. I was very much looking for revenge painting. And it's just life. Here we are. Let's do this. Come on, get this thing out of here. God almighty. What's this? There are many more important things in life than painting, but I'm glad because I haven't been this passionate about painting for a long, long time, I'll tell you that. And if digital painting ain't right, if digital painting is wrong, I don't want to be right. blurring those edges. We're finding our way. Zooming out. Finding our way. Gosh. I don't want to let this one go as is, but I think we have to say goodbye. We got 4 minutes. We're going to do it. We got to do it. Sprinkles, twinkles. Any last twinkles? Any last requests? Sprinkles and twinkles. Hi diddly dee, an actor's life for me. That's another crazy movie, which is worth a rewatch. Pinocchio. And what's really crazy about that movie is how they made it, and like the extent of the crazy that Walt had. He was nuts. You dive into that guy's biographies, you start to, I don't know, it really impressed me, some of the stuff that guy did with art and technology. And just like the perseverance, like in the face of like shareholder, not just shareholder, but just like, I mean, the way like the money was just not there and he just was crazy. Kind of like a Steve Jobs type. It's got to be perfect. Okay. Never going to be perfect. We did what we could. I'm feeling happy with it for the most part. I see one little thing that I think will be fun from here. There, that chin. Pop that chin out. Soften the brow up here, and there's never, ever, ever can be soft enough in the forehead. And that's when I get those sirens. They're like, don't do it. Sorry, no disrespect to the victim. But sometimes I notice when I'm like, gonna start doing something I shouldn't. Get that little crazy. Start getting a little on the psychotic side. All right, how we doing? I'm not doing so great. I'm tired, man. I hope this isn't the COVID coming in. All right. We got to put a pin in this one. Boy, as always, I want to thank anyone out there, Cinnabon Boy, Faye Helmet, Old Winter King. You put up with a lot today. And listen, I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for you guys showing up. And I'm not gonna let the tenants ruin that for us. Okay, we got something special here. Thank you again. I tried my best. I don't know how valiant the effort was. It felt valiant. I'm gonna close our window there. I feel like I exorcised some demons there, and I will always look at this painting and think, God, I never fixed the nose. He looks crazy in that. But that's the way it is, and it's okay. And maybe one day we'll revisit it. But for now, I'm going to make this Rogers 4 and say to myself, hold on a second. I got to take this. Hello? Yes, it is. Hi. I'm good, thanks. How are you, Catherine? Oh. Yeah. All right. Anyhow, where are we at? I was saying bye-bye and thank you, and that'll be that for today. See you next time.